Hello everybody, here we are today and we are going to be doing my picks, predictions for this week in the CFL Week 14. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or the CFL. That being said, let's get into it. So, of course, it's a good thing the NFL started this week because I thought yesterday was Wednesday when it was really Thursday, so the video should have went out yesterday, but we're going to put all this stuff out now and before the Hamilton-Ottawa game, which will be the first game of the week, so of course that'll be the first one that we talk about here. Hamilton in Ottawa, this is a very important game because you look at this and whoever wins this game has a great chance to go on to the playoffs if the third team is going to come out of the East. Will the loser of this be doomed to not making the playoffs? Not necessarily. There's still a good way to go in the season, but this is one of those games that you really want to be able to win while also beating somebody within your division that is also trying to make the playoffs and is neck and neck with you. Hamilton, theoretically is in a spot where they could win this one. They did get beat recently by the Argos, but could have been worse. All in all, I will say this. I'm just going to say right now that I'm picking Ottawa to win this one. There's a few reasons why. Not all of them are X's and O's, and again with the CFL, you don't have the ability all the time to do X's and O's. My thought process is this. Ottawa's coming off of a bye. Extra preparation. We always talk about that being a factor. Hamilton is coming off 3 days of rest. So you could say, oh, they're more game ready. My opinion on 3 days of rest, if you've ever played a football game, even, if you're a teenager or something like that, that's not a lot of rest. And then the final talking point with this one is the Duke Williams drama, I should say, retweeted saying he was out. Orlando Steinauer saying, no, that's not really the case. Him being put on the 6-game injured list. I don't know what's going on in Hamilton. Things haven't been clicking for a while now, and in general, I'm just looking at Ottawa. They could use this win in with extra rest and preparation over a team that has literally had 3 days to rest up. I think they'll win it, and I'm hoping that there could be a good crowd tonight. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to watch that game a whole lot because I'm going to be at the drive-in, but I will be trying to watch this game tomorrow with the Montreal Alouettes traveling to Toronto to play the Argonauts. This game is going to be at 1 o'clock, and it has big implications for both sides. The Alouettes, are looking to pick up a win over a worthy opponent, and they also like it because it would get them closer to a playoff appearance or lock in a playoff spot. Whereas Toronto, if they win, they do lock up a playoff spot. It would be their third straight season, and I recently posted in my Instagram post about the Argos winning last week. That locked up their third straight season of 500 or better record. So 2021, 2022, and then this season, of course, they will have a 500 record or better for the first time since the 2004 through 2007 Toronto Argonauts sides. Really good for Dinwiddie and what he's been able to accomplish here with the Argonauts, being first in the division 2021, winning the Grey Cup, also being first in the division last year, and then possibly being on their way to another championship. This is poised to be a really important game because with this win, it does lock in Toronto, but it really does put it in a perspective where they're probably going to win the East with a W here. Montreal, again, would like to pick up an upset win, get closer to the playoffs themselves, and then maybe drive a wedge, or get a little bit closer, I should say, where they pull themselves into Toronto to try to maybe make a divisional push here for it. But I think at the end of the day, I got to pick the Argos. I don't know, again, with the Argonauts, they just look so good. Montreal hasn't looked great all year. I know they had a 4-game win streak, but I've really been shy on Montreal in terms of them being a true contender. Toronto is picking the Argos, but on a week-to-week basis, you never really know. Now, the third game of the week will also be an important one as you have the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they are traveling to Winnipeg to play the Blue Bombers. After the whole Robertson incident, obviously that is a talking point here, and the fact that the Rough Riders ended up picking an upset win over the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg would have had a chance to clinch a playoff spot had they won that game. Obviously they lost, which really does make Saskatchewan's hopes of making the postseason a lot better. This is going to be a game where, again, last week you thought Winnipeg was the favorites. They were not able to get it done, and the Rough Riders were able to get it done in overtime. I don't exactly know who I'm picking here. I will say that the Rough Riders really would be eager to get a win, especially in front of that crowd that they don't like and their fans don't like. And this is a game that Winnipeg, of course, too, would just like to get the formalities over with by locking a playoff spot up. I'm going to be picking Winnipeg in this one. Obviously, the Blue Bombers didn't win last week. To pick a team or pick against a team back-to-back weeks, or to see a team that is favored back-to-back weeks, I think would be a little weird. But again, with the Rough Riders, Coach Dickinson obviously is ecstatic too, because if they get a win here, you're really looking at him having a lot of job security when his job was very much so in question, not according to a certain person on Twitter at the beginning of the year. But anyway, we weren't going to focus on that, picking Winnipeg in this one, but hoping to see a good game like last week. And then the final game, as my dog snores next to me, is the Calgary Stampeders traveling to Edmonton, where Edmonton looked like they were going to pull off the upset last week. Had a 15-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Ultimately, things weren't meant to be as they won that game. This is a huge game for both sides because, again, when you're not a great team and you have a team like Saskatchewan that looks like they're well on their way to locking up the 3 spot out west, then you really know that it's you. Well, I'll just say Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, Hamilton, all competing for that final playoff spot. I know I don't want to say that it's all done because obviously nothing's been locked in yet, but it's kind of that way where you've got 4 teams fighting for one spot, and 2 of them just so happen to meet for a second consecutive week with how small our league is. This is a huge game, obviously more so for Calgary because they are expected, I guess, to make the playoffs. I expected them to at the start of the year, but Edmonton has been much, much better since Trey Ford has started out. They posted saying they had something like 37, I don't know if it was plays, that would be a really weird thing to post about, but like 37 drives maybe where they didn't have a turnover. Again, if it's plays, that's kind of an embarrassing thing to post about, but either way, the Elks look a lot better. Still though, I think I'm picking Calgary in this one. I don't know what it is. I obviously picked Edmonton when they ended up picking their first 2 wins of the season, but just something doesn't feel right here. Again, I was really high on Calgary, so that could be part of it, but if the Stamps are able to stay in it a little bit later instead of having to play comeback, being 15 points down, maybe they're going to be favored in this game. I don't know. I will say this. Obviously, the Stampeders are not the team of years past, and if Edmonton picked up a win, it would make the playoff picture even that much more interesting, and I'm almost hoping that they do, because at West, how weird would it be at the beginning of the year to say Calgary would finish, bottom in the West? Will that happen? I don't know, but anyway, those are my picks for this week. You have Ottawa, Toronto, and Winnipeg, and of course, the final game, I'm picking Calgary. What are your picks for this week? Also apologize with recaps. I've been very busy, and I'm going to try to catch up on those. I know that that's probably not something that everybody's here for. They're more so here for the picks and then some more of the breaking news, but I still enjoy doing the recaps. Anyway, what are your picks for this week? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe and have a great night.